So I know it's been a while since I posted on this channel. I've been prioritizing my TikTok, and I feel like even though I write stuff in the community tab, not everybody ends up seeing it. Which pretty much to catch everything up is that I was doing my initial like 3 posts a day on TikTok, and then eventually I got access to the live. So I've just any time that I've had um, to do that, I've just been live streaming on TikTok, as I feel like that's like the next step into taking advantage of where to go from there with like promoting stuff and whatever. Um, Primarily, I that's what I've had time to do. I haven't had a lot of time to think of ideas for YouTube. And if I'm being honest, like just the internet is so annoying, specifically with like, algorithms and stuff, that I just haven't felt the need to make content. I mean, I've thought of ideas like in passing of what to make, but if I'm being honest, like I don't want to make videos that are like the same as other people's videos. And I know I've talked about that before, but I feel like whenever some like new trend, or not even trend, but like whatever the hot topic is, everybody's so quick to get on that, and just the originality is just gone at that point. I appreciate people that do live streams discussing those things instead of making videos, or even just taking parts of their live stream and making the video centered around that into like the discussion. But the whole like um the typical format of like almost like video essays, not even exclusively video essays, but the response type videos, it's it's really annoying. I'd rather just listen to someone's like new take on it instead of just kind of making the same format content. And I have a couple things that I want to discuss about that, even specifically. There was a video that was put out by a channel named Crimes New Roman, talking about like the I don't want to like do it in injustice by explaining like the video, because you kind of have to watch it to understand it. So even just my description of it is not very a good description of it, but basically how a lot of drama channels, which was ironically something that I did end up bringing up at some point, like maybe 3 years ago, with the whole Mama Max thing, and the how I what something that I didn't realize was that a lot of drama channels ended up moving more towards like right wing audiences, and the way they would discuss certain topics and stuff was just genuinely harmful, and just something that like that gives commentary a bad name for the commentary space on YouTube. Now, with that, I kind of makes me not want to make any commentary type of style videos because of that. But more specifically, it's just with so much of the same content in that sphere of things, and even when it comes to like the media analysis stuff that I did mention that I wanted to start doing, it's annoying to basically talk about whatever everybody else is talking about, and I don't want to do that right now. I will probably return to it whenever I like to do things, whenever it's not being done at the moment. That's kind of where I want to go with things. And when you knock off the 2 things that I was originally planning on doing for the channel, that means that leaves for basically doing the like parody style short form content, whatever. Not short form, but you know what I mean. Quick style parody videos, in replace of that. And because I had 3 different styles of videos that I wanted to do on this channel, whenever I have time, I'm probably just going to be doing those videos because they're fun. They require less effort than the other stuff that I want to make. I mean, like, yeah, with people are going to make the argument that there's a lot of stuff we could be discussing about nowadays, but it feels like all these topics and like, yeah, I completely understand why people would want to discuss like um the basically fighting back with the culture war stuff. But you know, if that's all you're doing, whether what side you're on, the one that's making the garbage or the one that's fighting against the garbage, it's just I don't. It seems like it'd be annoying, and I just don't want to do that. And I'll give you some. I'll give you some. Well, I'll give you two examples. The first one, well, the main example I think would be mixtape. I didn't think it was going to be so much of a fucking issue, but whenever I made my videos, talking about Life is Strange, talking about Lost Records, saying like, "Oh, I want to play mixtape. Mixtape looks interesting," and I'm one that has been following this game since like the announcement trailer, which no one had an issue with whatsoever. Of course, it's when it does well, people have to like shit talk it. And then, of course, when IGN gives, or any major gaming thing comes out with a video with a positive, really positive review for this game, people are going to have to make and it's not even necessarily just strictly the culture war side of things. It's literally just people giving an opinion on it, and it's really annoying. It honestly made me not want to play the game. Whether it's good, whether it's not good, I lost my interest in that. I probably will play it at some point later down the line, but it's stuff like that that the internet made me not want to enjoy something just because of I don't want to deal with that. Um, Instead, I've been going on my own journey, watching various kinds of anime that I really only heard either like the soundtrack for or just heard like in passing for things, and I ended up enjoying a lot of them. Especially the Serial Experience, Moline. I really enjoyed that. But that leads me to another thing. As much I have some interesting ideas for things like whenever they do come out sometimes, specifically like Forza Horizon, and I guess there's always something with these things. I do want to make kind of a video, but it's kind of already been made by other people, which is just like how the racing game fan base is just rooting fun and with when it comes to racing games. Specifically, anybody that's a fan of Forza, Need for Speed, or Gran Turismo, because they don't know ball. And honestly, like an idea that I had for Forza Horizon, which I'm like the idea that I'm going with this for now, I think what I'm going to do is if I do decide to go through with it, I'm going to do the hard work behind the scenes and then turn that into a video. But what I want to do is essentially remake my own version of the soundtrack for Horizon 6. And I did this before with Watch Dogs Legion, but I don't know when I would even come out with a video like that going over it. But honestly, like it falls in line with stuff that I like to talk about with music specifically. Um, just better atmosphere for the game. I'm probably going to play Horizon 6 at some point, but the main thing that I was interested in is just the setting in general. And I feel like people may come for me for this, but I feel like whenever you do a game in a setting, specifically, whatever region you're in, I feel like, or country specifically, country based that aren't, even Europe, I'll say even Europe should have more representation in its stuff, but like having like American stuff, American made songs in a game that's set in was Tokyo, I feel like that rubs me the wrong way, and I feel like there's so much good music when it comes to Japan specifically that it should be represented all over. It shouldn't just be like, oh yeah, have specific artists and bands, and then, you know, flood it with whatever the hell whatever music someone else enjoys. That's not right. I've been doing that behind the scenes. I've already finished the radio station for, and it's not a realistic do over, by the way. It's whatever I think is good, and whatever I try to balance it. Like, try not to go like 100 songs for one radio station, but Japanese music is so good that I ended up doing like 80 something for the first radio station. And that ended up falling into some issues because going off of like what is normally expected for whatever radio station, whatever someone's Spotify playlist has is kind of contradictory, or maybe and I don't know if it's specifically that Western stuff, you know, has their own interpretation of what indie pop means, or that the Japanese indie pop scene is different from the Western indie pop scene, but like it got mixed up into certain things because there was like even just some straight up like math rock thrown into it that I was trying to separate everything. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. Basically, like any new thing that comes out, if people are loving it and there's some way to turn it into a culture war thing, they're gonna do it, and then people have to will make videos responding to why that stuff is stupid. Or something does, or something ends up doing good, but it goes against what, you know, some imaginary tale of this random group of people don't like, but oh, it's doing well, so that means that we're winning against this culture war. Those two things are just, I don't want to, right now I don't want to deal with that, because that's what's been not like, I've been avoiding. That's what I've been avoiding. It's really hard to go on any internet based platform and not deal with whatever that is. And I want to talk about other stuff now. Music. I really, really would like to do another music project. You know, I know some people are really the people that still enjoy Lucas from Afar, my second music project to this day. I really want to give back to that, and I have a really interesting idea in mind, in which, like all my other music projects, you know, I take what I've learned and add something new to the next one, and that's what this one's going to be. I think I mentioned this before, but I want to include more samples in my music, and just by watching various kinds of anime, and this will highly be inspired by specific anime that I want to. That will be the next thing, kind of working in samples with the music. I've been listening to a lot of like trip hop and stuff like that, so trip hop and anime soundtracks are basically the inspiration for this, along with my past work that I've done. That it's going to be expensive though, or not necessarily. It's going to cost money. I don't know how expensive it's actually going to be. The problem is, I get way too specific when I end up working with samples, and buying sample packs is something that I like. I definitely want to save money in order to then know what I'm going to be buying. But at the same time, you know, that's a passion project, and I know it's something that people will enjoy, and it's just something that I want to do. But outside of that, you know, finding time to do that stuff, just like finding time to make content on YouTube too. The reason why I'm making this video, and the reason why there will probably be, hopefully, a couple of videos posted on this channel in the next coming days, is because I have time to do that. A lot of the time on my weekdays, I just want to live stream and focus on TikTok stuff. I will be honest, it's primarily live streaming. However, I and because that's the next step. That's the next step I have to take. And I think a lot of people would say that you should be doing like 5 things at once, which isn't a bad idea too, but it's just also just having the time of when to do that is really annoying, especially on work days. So here we are. We have a day like I have about five. I have 5 day five. I have 5 days to do stuff. And I'm going to be doing that and balancing other stuff that I need to do in my personal life as well. I'm trying to think of what else that I wanted to talk about. If I have ideas, I'm going to try to work on them and hopefully get them into a video. But my main issue is that I want to have a balance of good content instead of like taking so many days to work on one video, because in the long run, unless it's something I'm really really passionate about, there's no point in doing it. I'd rather do something that I'll have fun with instead of doing something that might do good, might not do good, just based on the fact of like the release of these videos are already bad enough that I don't know. Outside of that, I don't know where to go. I'm gonna probably keep doing what I'm doing. My initial plan is to put out as many videos as I possibly can on this channel in the coming days. And that's obviously going to stop whenever I go back to TikTok. In the process, I'm probably going to be, I don't have any plans right now for anything big. At least that's like whatever I'm not working on. At least like there's nothing that I want to like tackle right now. I've been thinking about a lot of. I don't know what I've been really like. I've been trying to like piece together like a big project of some kind, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. Obviously, like anime has been like the number one thing that's been like I between like anime and I guess coming up with ideas for music related stuff, specifically music project stuff. Those two are like the main things that have been big. Um, oh, I would like to bring up that I've been thinking about maybe returning to my podcast, and I wanted to bring that up again, mentioning Spotify. As far as I know, I don't know how the Spotify podcast thing works, but basically, like, I've been ignoring all my emails because honestly, I don't want my podcast on Spotify, considering for many reasons. Spotify sucks for many reasons. The main thing, though, and I've been thinking about this for a while, but if they delete it, who cares? Because it's still on YouTube. That has been something that I've been thinking about because that also falls in line with like content that I wouldn't mind making. I wouldn't mind yapping about whatever the hell I feel like yapping about. Probably going to be spoiler stuff though, considering that I've just been indulging into various kinds of things, music, anime wise, that there's a lot that I would just love to just discuss and talk about that's not meant for normal videos. It's more just a conversation like session. And because of that, Spotify would be axed. I'm curious, and I will probably be putting, if I do decide to make another episode, I will be putting this in a poll. If you would prefer standard, like podcast, like blank PNG photo and talking, or gameplay and podcast. I think one is better than the other, but I'm curious to know what you would prefer. Another thing that I also want to talk about is whenever I do decide to do media analysis or whatever commentary style video that I want to do in the future, I'm going to try. I know I've said this before and I've kind of played around with editing, but I really don't want to just do this typical gameplay footage and then talk. unless it's a personal video, because in that case, like, I prefer to just have whatever going, with in contrast to whatever serious topic I'm talking about. And I think that's the main thing. Right now, that's what you're gonna expect from this channel. Why everything looks good now is because I have a ring light finally, and I am very glad that I got this because it just makes things look a lot better. Also, the hair thing has been something that's been bothering me for a while now, and I will say that there's going to be a chance that if I do end up making um, more content with my face, I'm probably gonna look different in the future. That's all. Peace.